Tesla is getting Musk here again. What has kind of happened, and we know he is attacking the spending bill, like full-on attack. We know he's called Navarro dumb as a sack of bricks in the past. We know it's been reported that he had a screaming match with Besant last week. He is fighting with the Trump administration. Not necessarily Trump, but everyone around Trump. Like Besant a month ago was promoting Tesla and saying, get out there and buy this. This is the best value company here ever. We know Trump bought a Tesla to show Musk support. I got to think that Trump is probably getting a little bit ticked off with Musk parading around on X saying how bad his big, beautiful bill is. I got to think that's ticking Trump off. So what has happened here, and we can see the stock falling the last couple of days, especially if we go to the 30-minute, you can really see the stock is just leaking. So laying it all out, he obviously ticked a lot of Democratic voters off with aligning with Trump so much. Now he's going back and now possibly ticking off Republican voters as well. So we know the international, sales have been down substantially because he's ticked off all those people too. He continues, and I'm using tick because Mitch says if you swear on the show, YouTube punishes you. So we're trying not to swear. I believe that he's ticked off a lot of potential buyers on both sides now and everywhere around the world. I think the stock market is starting to get nervous that Tesla, which is now trading over 200 times its lowered earnings because the earnings are actually going down projections, it's got a lot of fluff in it. And I would argue that probably 50 to 100 points, because we know when Trump got elected, that stock ran like 80 points on that. Probably you could say safely 50 points was baked into Tesla because of his goodwill with Trump, that he's buddies with the president and he's going to obviously get some special treatment in that. If that falls apart, you could see that 50-point premium come out of here in a hurry. Now, I'm still long some Tesla in my long-term account. I've been long some the whole time. But, I reduced the position by 90% back at 390 because I was worried about brand damage. I'm worried that he's now losing potential Republican buyers as well. And if Trump turns on him, like if all of a sudden Trump says, Musk, and says something negative, this stock will get hit hard on that. Trump has not done that. Mm-hmm. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he respects all the work he did with Doge and obviously helping him to get elected, that he's maybe not going to say anything. But you got to think that Musk going around all night, which he did, Brent, again, saying to stop this bill, the big beautiful bill, it's got to be
kill the bill. Bankrupting America is not okay.
Tweeting it.
Yeah. Dennis,
so, I think the politics are hurting Tesla stock performance here once again. I'm like we said yesterday, me and Joel said it sets up as a good short. We were talking about this in the STN room. I know there's a few traders like Intern who actually took the trade. You got the left shoulder here, the head. If you go out further, you might even see it better.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Left shoulder, head.
I can see it.
A little bit of right shoulder. Now breaking the neckline and moving down. So technically, Joel says setting up for pretty good from the short side. Now, again, we were talking this at 336 in the STN room. It's down 13 points since we started talking about it. So you're chasing it a little bit at this point in time for the pre-market prep listeners. If you want this information, join Stock Trader Network to get it faster. But I'm concerned as well that the sales now could potentially be dropping again. So he needs to stop with the politics, but he can't stop himself. He just can't stop himself. He is all in on politics, and he's got a social media platform that he owns. So it's safe to say that Elon is probably not going to stop with the politics. Eventually, there's going to be some permanent brand damage here, so we need this to stop. And the valuation, Gary Black, just one more thing, and I'll ask the question because I know it's a run-on sentence. Gary Black, who I've followed on Twitter for a very long time, and I'm not sure I mentioned this yesterday, but he's been in Tesla since 2021. He sold all of his stock last week at 558 because he's very concerned about valuation. He's very concerned about the sales falling. Same stuff that I've been talking about, I'm worried about the sales falling as well. So if you want to follow him, at Gary Black, but I'm trying to find the actual tweet why he said it because it was really good. We read it in the STN room yesterday, but Yeah, he's talking about European registrations. He's talking about a number of things falling. Oh, I should have had it ready.
So can I, Triple D, can I play a little bit of devil's advocate on your shoulder here? Because,
yeah, please.
I think a couple big themes that you've been highlighting have been, one, robotaxi, two, humanoid robots, and one that you haven't been talking a ton about, but I'll add into this list, SpaceX. And I know that's not Tesla, but it's definitely Elon Musk. So do what's happening now with Trump in politics, or excuse me, with Musk in politics, does that change anything with those 2 or 3 parts of the Tesla thesis here?
Well, long term, I think it's a question of how much brand damage is done here. Like, is any of this going to be permanent if he continues to talk politics? There's a possibility that it could be. Right now, the brand damage, I believe, is still temporary and can be still temporary. But what I said on this show, he needs to stop with the politics. He can't stop with the politics, and now he's ticking off a whole bunch of more potential buyers. So, like, if Trump, and it's a scenario analysis, but if Trump all of a sudden he says, that Musk is wrong here and this guy's an idiot and, don't ever buy his cars. If that happened, that there's a hardcore Trump following that will not buy Tesla cars. This is all an issue. There's a reason. And somebody was saying, I don't know if it was on STN or where it was, but somebody was saying there should be a case study done on why, and using this as the example on why CEOs stay politically neutral. This is going to be the reason. And obviously the stocks held up fairly well. I mean, it was 400 and it came off. We could argue that maybe none of this is priced in here even yet. But if the sales continue to fall, eventually there's going to be the market taking notice here, because this has been just an epic collapse really in the fundamentals. Not good at all. Gary Black's tweet, Tesla now trades at a forward PE of 180. In the history of the stock market, we can't find a single 1 trillion market cap company that traded at a forward PE of 180. Why not? The long-term growth rate needed to justify 180 PE, which caused Tesla market cap to be bigger than Apple, Microsoft, which seems insane because both have huge TAMs. He goes on and on, talking valuation, talking about the issues that we're obviously seeing, and I think Robotaxi and Optimus can still be a driver here, but if you hurt the brand, people aren't going to buy your stuff, period. So there's some people out there that, like, I talked to and said, I'll never buy a Tesla because of Musk. I'm like, well, that's not good. So it needs to be forgotten that it needs to be politically neutral, but he can't do it. And now he's
can't
swinging
help
back
himself.
the other way. So you tick off all the Dems. Now you're going to tick off all the Republicans. You eventually got nobody left to buy your cars. And we can see that people aren't buying as many cars. So this is why the stock is going down here right now. The market is now very scared that Elon Musk is pissing off the right. That's where I'm at too. So I still have some shares in the long-term portfolio that I tucked away under my mattress. If they go to zero, they go to zero. Like I said, I took out 90% of I sold 90% of my position from last year at between 410 and 390. And I just decided that I was going to hold this little piece because I made way more than I have left in the stock. So I'm forever playing with the house's money. If, politics go away, I do believe there's a long-term thesis to be long Tesla here. But man, from the short-term perspective, I think you're selling into rips.
Tough.